This week I want to talk about when to start running your trail cameras in order to find the bucks that you're going to hunt this fall. And for me this is pretty straightforward because I always want to wait until the bucks have dispersed from their summer ranges and gotten into their fall ranges, or at least started that process of moving towards their fall ranges. And I know it's exciting to see the deer during the summer, and we've had a lot of fun over the years filming bucks in August, early August, mid-August. Great big giants out on the beans, out on the alfalfa fields. It's really exciting to see these deer because they're so visible at that time. I would say that maybe the first week in August, the first 10 days of August, is when a mature buck is the most visible that he's going to be during his entire, during the entire year. So it's easy to be misled by that information that you get in early August. You feel like, okay, now I've got a couple of these bucks figured out. I know where they live. This is where I'm going to hunt these deer. And then the fall comes and you just never see that deer again. And I had that happen so many times early on. And finally I realized that I was trying to hunt bucks in the fall, but trying to hunt them in their summer ranges. And for some deer that overlaps. For some deer, their fall range and their summer range are the same. They don't really move that far, but for a high percentage of the bucks, they actually spread out and they disperse into different ranges. So if you think about it, they're in their bachelor groups during most of the summer, and then the testosterone levels start to rise, and that's what causes their velvet to dry and come off, and that also causes them to change their behavior towards each other. So now they don't tolerate each other as much. Now they're more in that rut mindset, more competitive. They don't want to live together like they did all summer. So they split up, they disperse. And where they go is almost, I won't say that it's the same every year, but there's a high likelihood that where a buck goes after he disperses from his summer range is the same place where he went to when he dispersed the year before. So their fall ranges, most of the time, I won't say always, because we've seen probably at least 25% of the bucks will change their fall ranges from year to year too. But most of them will go back to where they were the year before. So if you hunted a buck in a certain spot last year, a pretty good chance he's going to be in that same spot this year, if he's still alive. But if you're trying to find where exactly each buck on your property that you're hunting is, it doesn't do you a lot of good to start running that trail camera survey during the summer. So for me, it's a pretty straightforward deal. I wait until about September 10th, roughly, every year. By then, the bucks have shed their velvet, they've broken up their bachelor groups, they've at least started this process of dispersing. And I feel like it goes almost a solid month. From roughly September 10th until roughly October 10th, they're settling into those fall ranges. So that's really my window for running my trail cameras, trying to find the bucks that I'm going to hunt each fall. To each their own. Some people love photographing deer, all summer long, and I can't blame them for that. It's really cool to watch them grow and so forth, but that information is not necessarily 100% useful in the fall. So just don't be misled by what you learn during the summer, because it doesn't always translate. So I'm going to take a real quick look now at back on the farm and give you an update on that food plot where we put the brassicas into the beans that were failing, and then I'll close up the episode. As you can see here, the brassicas are doing pretty well. I was really surprised in a few spots how well they really did germinate and grow. They got a lot thicker than I expected. Then there were a few spots where it was thinner than I thought too. Not exactly sure why. Might have been just the way the seeds hit the ground and how well they found a place in the ground, or possibly the seed itself wasn't as good. But obviously it's worth fertilizing now. I've got brassicas, I've got something growing here. I didn't want to put a bunch of fertilizer down if I didn't that I was going to have something coming in. I didn't want to fertilize it before I knew that the brassicas, the turnips and the radishes and the dwarf Essex rape that are in this mix, that it was actually going to germinate and start to grow, because I didn't want to waste that fertilizer. Also, I didn't want to put it down until I knew I had a rain coming. So I've got, should be about 2 days here that the fertilizer will be sitting, and then the rain should come in and push that into the ground. And hopefully this will be it for this year. I mean, I put a fair amount on. I think I put probably just shy of 100 pounds actual per acre of the urea, and that should be more than enough to get the to get these brassicas through in really nice shape to the fall. So anyway, I think it's going to be successful. You know, the whole process of saving this soybean plot and putting something in here that I can actually hunt over looks like it's going to work out pretty well. Okay, so once again, I'm going to be traveling the coming week. Our daughter and I are going to go out to Teton National Park and do some hiking. So I probably won't have an episode for you next Monday. So again, you know, I apologize for not being consistent. It's just nice to be able to spend time with the family this time of the year, you know, before they settle into school and work, and, you know, I settle into my hunting routine. So hopefully you forgive me for missing another week. But when I come back again, there's a couple topics I want to talk about. Obviously, I want to talk more about this trail camera stuff, about where to put the cameras and what you can learn from those photos and how to, you know, put that to good use and translate that right into your hunting strategy for the fall. But I also want to start talking about some other things too related to behavior and a little bit about how to shoot from a tree. I've learned some really good tips over the years from some really great archers, and I want to pass some of those along too. So I appreciate you joining me. I'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Bowhunting Whitetails, and remember to always dream big.